order this meeting of the Clinton Township Board of Trustees. Everybody stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before us we have the agenda. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections outside of, I wanted to add just before we get into any of the agenda, have a moment of silence in honor of Logan Bland, one of our township employees who's been just a tremendous asset that passed from cancer. So if we can just observe a few seconds of silence in his honor. God bless you, so we'll see you again. Okay. Are there any agenda changes? Okay, the agenda stands as presented. Nothing on the sheriff's report or unfinished business. Tonight, for new business, we do have Jim Chaney with the Hall of Fame Marathon with us. So, Jim, I'm going to turn it over to you to address the board.
Very good. Thank you for having me this evening.
Thank you.
I'm giving you a sort of thick
Point fired.
packet of papers. The first 9 pages are our COVID plan that we submitted. Does anyone else need one? I'll leave them behind. First 9 pages or so is the plan that we submitted to the health department. We've been working with Stark County Health Department and City of Canton Health Department to try to put this marathon together. We canceled on March 8th of last year, and on March 8th there were 3 reported cases of COVID in the state of Ohio, and we got barbecued for canceling and being overreactive. So now we're coming out of it, and we're still going to get kind of that reaction. So we've taken great care to put together a plan to make this happen for this year. The date is May 2nd, Sunday, May 2nd. We have reduced our capacity by 50%. And just sort of quick highlights. We eliminated the race expo that happens before the event. We're mailing everything to people. We have staggered out the field. First runners are starting at 7 a.m. The very last runners will go off at 10 a.m. So we've expanded the way that people come in, start, and then get onto the course. As soon as they finish, they exit the stadium. We give them a box, and in the box has their medal and their shirt and their blanket. So it's kind of in and out, reducing almost every touch point that we could imagine. We would love to run through the township. As you get towards the back, you will see 2 maps. The blue map is the full marathon. But more specifically for you guys, the red map is the half marathon. The marathon and half marathoners run together, and we come into the township, coming off of 17th and then head west into Avondale and Ridgedale.
Which, Jim, that's pretty much, it's been the same for the last couple of years.
Yeah, same basic layout. We've made 1 or 2 very minor modifications to try to free up some traffic. We're not going down Lakeside as much as we did the last time we did it. So, but it's the same layout. Again, 50% of the capacity that we've had in the past. And the last page is a turn-by-turn of the event itself. It's going to be an interesting year for us. We've always done our due diligence in going door to door, notifying residents, that we're coming down your street. We're sorry that we're coming down your street. Here's the time of the first runner. Here's the time of the last runner. Car always wins. So if you have to go to church, you have to go to the market, we'll get you out. This year, we don't want people to come to the edge of the street and high-five the runners as they go by. We want them to safely sit on the porch and cheer. So our communications this year, we will start 5 weeks before, so basically the 3rd week of March, in delivering, door-to-door, hey, Pro Football Hall of Fame Marathon, I'm Jim Chaney, we're coming down the road. If you have questions, issues, contact me. We'll do that again 3 weeks before, and then finally 1 week before. We haven't been down the roads now in 2 years, so we don't want this to be a surprise to any of the residents. That is really it in a nutshell. The way that we've approached the race this year is we sort of started with the health layer, with the health departments to make sure that we're good. We got the okay with our health plan. We made a couple of modifications that are in this document and submitted it again today for final paper approval. And I'm expecting that next Tuesday. So we're going on that front. Now I'm at the municipality level, talking to you folks in the city of Canton as far as how are we going to pull this off. We had an initial meeting with Sheriff Department and City of Canton Police to go over the course and some of the timings. But to Scott's point, it's sort of business as usual for what we've done in the past. So that's it in a nutshell. Any questions? I know we have to talk to Joe.
Yeah, I was wondering, are you going to need barricades and cones?
Yeah, so what we're doing right now, Joe, is once, hopefully I get the okay from you folks, we'll sit down, Lieutenant Carver and Lieutenant Campbell, we've got the timings down, and we'll go through the assets that we need. So you would probably be hearing from me in another 2 weeks, week and a half to 2 weeks, with, we need barricades in these locations, we need officers in these locations. We usually go through that turn-by-turn exercise in March. Yeah.
Which for the sheriff's deputies, even though we're contracted with sheriff, you guys are gonna deal directly with the sheriff's
Correct.
office, so
Yep.
any associated expense, it'll be between you and the townships.
Correct.
Out of that.
Yeah, we go through an exercise of, do we need a cruiser, do we need an officer, do we need a volunteer for every intersection. I think there's about 300 intersections on the course, so once we do that, then to your point, we'll just work directly on cost basis with the Sheriff's Department, the same thing with Joe, with the road department, so based on manpower, materials, we would be invoiced and pay those fees. Any other questions?
I think I'm good. Anybody? No questions?
Thank you for the handouts and the map and all that.
Thank you.
As usual, just keep us informed if anything change or evolve, and clearly Ryan will be the one to let us know anything from the safety services side.
Yeah, and I'll keep you in the loop as far as the notification, because in addition to the letters, we're probably going to try a postcard mailer based on the zip codes and see, because it's not just important for the people on the route, but those in the general area to know. So we're going to go through that step this year.
Okay.
So, I'll leave copies back here if anyone wants to
Yeah, I'm going to need one.
grab extra. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes new business. I'll take us at fiscal officer's report. Mr. Wolf.
Thank you. Fiscal officer number 1 is a request for resolution to authorize the payment of pending warrants in the amount of $303,493.27.
So moved. Second. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Haas,
Yes.
Mrs. Harless,
Yes,
Mr. Sabo.
Yes.
Fiscal officer number 2 is a request for resolution to authorize the payment of regular payroll in an amount not to exceed $250,000.
So moved.
second,
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Haas.
Yes.
Mrs. Harless,
yes,
Mr. Sabo.
Yes.
Fiscal officer number 3 is a request for resolution to authorize payment for the following medical claims.
so moved,
Move on. Fiscal officer. Actually, we'll for John, you for a second. Brooke happened to get the motion now. Second. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Haas,
Yes.
Mrs. Harless,
yes,
Mr. Sabo.
Yes.
Fiscal officer number 4 is the investment report.
If you have questions, feel free to see Tom after.
Fiscal officer number 5 is request for resolution to authorize the following transfers.
So moved. Second. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Haas,
Yes.
Mrs. Harless,
yes,
Mr. Sabo.
Yes.
Fiscal officer number 6 is a request for resolution to authorize the fiscal officer to pay vendors and utility bills and include them on the pending warrant list for the next regular meeting.
So moved.
second,
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 7 is a request for resolution to authorize the following transfers of expenses for the coronavirus relief fund.
So moved.
Second. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo? That concludes Fiscal Officer report.
Thank you. Take us to the administrator, Ms. Campbell.
Thank you, Board. I have one item on the agenda tonight, and that is a resolution to authorize the purchase and payment of 12 CR2 semi-automatic, including an extra 12 of the LifePak CR2 AED semi-rigid carry case, and also the adult child pacing ECG defibrillation, and the amount not to exceed $18,879.60 per the attached quote to be taken from our sheriff's fund.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
This will give us one AED in every sheriff's vehicle. I know that Lieutenant Carter has trained on the AEDs, and everybody seems really pleased to be able to have one that's in their cruiser at all times, so.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Thank you, that's the end of the administrator report.
It's going to take us to fire department. Chief?
Thank you. Item number 1 is a resolution to authorize purchase and payment of gasoline, oil, and diesel fuel from McIntosh Oil from Fund 10A09E.
So moved. Second. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Item number 2 is a resolution by the Plain Township Board of Trustees to authorize payment to Stryker Corporation for a contract for the following heart monitors not to exceed $11,750.40.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Item number 3 is a resolution to promote Stephen Jokey from part-time to full-time status as he successfully completed his Ohio Police and Fire medical physical, wages to be set by bargaining unit agreement.
So moved.
Second. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Item number 4 is a resolution to authorize purchase and payment of 3 electric slide entry doors from MedWorks DBA Crossroads Ambulance not to exceed $7,000 to be taken from Fund 28A05.
So moved. Second. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Item number 5 is a resolution by the Plain Township Board of Trustees to, whereas the Plain Township Fire Chief has attached a list of SCBA breathing equipment, including face pieces and written equipment, and declared unneeded, obsolete, or unfit for use, and authorized items to be scrapped for inventory.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Abstain.
Item number 6 is a resolution by the Plain Township Board of Trustees to authorize uniform blanket allowance not to exceed $20,000 for taken from Fund 28A06H.
So moved. Second. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
And that concludes the fire department. Thank you.
It's going to take us to the road department. Mr. Iacino.
Mr. Chairman, only one item tonight. It's a resolution to authorize purchase, installation, and payment to Frio Family Construction for the repair, replacement of the roof on the front of the road department above the offices, not to exceed $8,089.14 from Fund 11A8 Buildings and Additions.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Thank you. That's all from the road department.
Hey, Joe, I just one quick question while I'm thinking about it. I think it was last meeting or maybe 2 meetings ago, we had brought up the conversation resolution regarding Canton Township and Plain Township, 17th Street over by the Myers Lake area. I know you had reached out to their road superintendent or public works director, I'm not sure what the title. Have we heard anything since from them?
No, we had a good conversation about it. He's still thinking that we're underpaid for what we've done so far. And I said, well, his quote was a lot higher for asphalt than, the quote we normally get, so, So we have other avenues there that maybe we can bid it and they can reimburse us again, but that's because half of that road is ours. But he said he couldn't make any decisions, that his board would have to call our board to finalize anything, so.
I'll follow up with the two that I've had some initial discussion with on this to see, so. Proceeding forward, zoning department, Lisa?
Yep, thank you. Just one item tonight, and that is zoning abatement 1A.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
And that ends the zoning department.
Okay. Thank you. The the Parks Department?
Correct.
First item of business is a resolution to authorize purchase and payment to Rice's Landscapes Rate of Fine in an amount not to exceed $3,565 from the aforementioned funds for playground mulch.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 2 is a resolution by the Plain Township Board of Trustees to increase Ed Seebeck Jr.'s pay rate from $12.36 an hour to $13.36 an hour from Fund 01B01 from Fund 01B01A, ending his one-year probationary term for duty performed for the Parks, Buildings, and Grounds Department.
I will move on Parks 2.
Second, discussion, roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
That concludes Parks. Thank you.
Okay, nothing out of the law director, it takes us to communications. Chuck, do you want to read that, or do you want me to, or?
Does that?
Have at it. Sure.
This is, we include this because everybody always kind of gives us a bad reputation about the cats and the trees. This is actually a true cat and tree story. This is Chief Fire Chief Chalberger. On February 9th, I called the fire department and told them that my kitty had been sitting in a 40-foot tree overnight. It was cold and I couldn't, and she couldn't or wouldn't come down out of the tree. My son and I stayed up till 5 a.m. and then we got some sleep. At 9 a.m. I called your office. Someone was there within 10 minutes. I don't know their name, but they saw the problem and then very soon called for, it was actually an engine on a ladder truck, but on the truck to come out. They arrived very soon. They brought, I think it's pronounced Micah, it's the cat's name. I couldn't believe it. And I'm writing to you to let you know that I very much appreciate your department. I'm 9 years old, and I have 4 cats, and they mean the world to me. Thank you, and I would you please thank the men who were involved. And I think they were 4 of them, and they were very considerate for Mrs. Nancy, I think it's Pickard. So, anyway, but it's true, we do cats and trees still. So, not always, but we try to get out there.
Nice work.
Yeah, very nice.
Okay, brings us to the portion of the meeting, public speaks. Is there anybody in the audience that wishes to address the board? Seeing none, that'll conclude public speaks. Next item, concerns of trustees. Broker none. Okay, includes concerns of trustees, concerns of the fiscal officer, Mr. Wolf.
No concerns.
Takes us to the approval of the minutes for February 9th, 2021, and I will so move.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
There's no need for executive session, so make a motion to adjourn at 6:20 p.m. Second. Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Yes.